Right, let me give some context as to the start of this video and what's really going on. So I'm driving the Dodge D100, my beautiful pickup truck, on the way to the gym a few mornings ago. Felt alright, you know, coming out of my driveway, the brakes were fine, coming round, I come up to the first speed bump that was just outside my house. Now I didn't video any of this, didn't have any cameras on me or anything like that, and as I've come up to the first speed bump, started braking, as you normally do as I come up to a speed bump. I've owned lowered cars and stuff, so I always want to slow down as I come to a speed bump, and only one side of the truck braked. Now, the title may go, oh, the title, but this is actually what happened. The truck has braked one side, forced me, because I've got both hands on the steering wheel, but it's actually forced me and the truck into the curb, therefore mounting the curb and obviously damaging a little bit of the underneath. Now I'm going to be real with you guys, because I want to, on my channel, you know, bring you guys along with exactly what happens with my cars, and you know, the pitfalls and the good times, the bad times, and this is just one of those bad times. It's 7:30 in the morning, one side of the brakes has actually caught on the driver's wheel. I'm pretty much sure that's the only one that was braking at the time, and has meant that this very heavy lump of American metal has gone straight into the curb. What I did after that was low-loaded it. I didn't have any cameras, I didn't even take any pictures, but I low-loaded it to my good friend Ian at the works, and we're going to go through and explain exactly what's going on, as it's so windy, and explain what's going on. Now a word from today's sponsor. The Diecast Club is giving its customers the chance to build the legend that is the R35 GTR. By signing up to their monthly subscription, you can build a beautiful 1/8 scale model of one of the fastest cars ever built. Not only this, but they're actually giving you the chance to drive a GTR in person. It includes 2 meal vouchers, media pack, car wash kit, and of course 8 laps with the real GTR from circuits up and down the country. When I first saw this video, I actually thought it was a real car. The definition of everything on this 1/8 scale model is unreal. Again, for subscribing to their monthly subscription, you can win the chance to drive a real R35 GTR, including 2 meals, car wash kit and media pack. Just click the link in the description below and go and subscribe. Build your very own model GTR R35. But massive thanks to the guys at Diecast Club. But let's get back to the video. Hi Ian. Right, so there's a few things we need to go through in this, isn't there? So Ian actually came with me to buy the truck, so he's the man to actually sort us out what's going on. So, okay. Rear brakes, what's happening here?
Rear brakes have seen better days. All the linings are starting to crack up and break away from the actual shoe, as you can see. So the glues have come away. Wow. Which is, yeah, potentially something quite serious waiting to happen.
I think the danger there is it breaking away,
yeah,
and then
essentially
catching, and
yeah,
I wouldn't have noticed that.
The drum.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna go around. You wouldn't have noticed that though until you'd taken that off, or it would have happened.
No, you wouldn't have noticed it until you'd taken it off. Really, they can get a bit grabby sometimes when they're like this. But yeah, in general, you're not going to notice it till it either breaks or.
So that's happened.
Take it apart.
Right, so that's the back. That's the back of the truck. So that's happened. And coming round, we were going to do a full set though. The brakes were going to get done. I just wanted it to be a little bit. Well, I wanted the brakes to work at the end of the day. They worked well, but even on the test drive, I was like, oh, these brakes are good, but I still want to go through them anyway. But this has just accelerated the idea of what's going on.
Okay, so what we've got on the front, you've got a tie rod here. This here should actually be bolted to this arm here. So essentially what you felt was, when you braked, was this arm moving back, in which case what it will do is drag the steering round, which is exactly what you felt when you braked.
Yep, and that was the scariest thing with all that weight and what felt like one wheel braking and one wheel actually moving as well, which was incredibly scary.
The brake shoes are quite sort of seen better days really. They're cracked up and starting to sort of break away.
Yeah, look at the cracking in there.
not great.
Again, with drum brakes, it's not like you can have a look at the drum brake and see. You have to take everything off.
Everything has to be taken apart to be able to see and inspect them.
Scary times.
They also build a lot more heat than you know your disc brakes, because obviously they haven't got the air circulation. So something like this that's quite heavy, obviously they do take quite a beating.
Yeah, especially heavy. You're on the brakes a lot. It's automatic as well, so it doesn't actually slow itself down when we're going through, you know, town and stuff. So coming under here, this has actually come apart.
Yeah.
This
so
bit here.
These I don't know whether these have been actually retrofitted or the lower arm have been retrofitted, because we've had obviously different bits and pieces fitted, but there was only one bolt, assuming, you know, looking at the other side, there was only one bolt ever in there.
So if we take people to the other side and actually show if you look this side,
how sort of it should be. It should actually have 2 bolts in here to secure it.
And
so this has got one in it.
It's got one right there. And that's actually come away at the other side. Yeah. And just literally a bolt. So it's literally a bolt in it.
No spring washer, really wants to have a nylock on.
So at the end of the day, the vibrations in this truck could have actually undone that, and it just fell out the bottom.
Or the, you know, just the weight. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on that arm.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Constantly as you're steering, as you're going backwards and forwards. When you brake, it obviously holds the wheel, you know, the wheels out here and the size of your wheels.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going through just that one part.
Yeah, just on one bolt.
Wow,
to be
that's
one
scary.
bolt holding it in, not great.
Yeah, okay, that's that's fine. That's fine. A lot of other little bits and bobs under here that we have to go through.
Little leaks, power steering's leaking a little bit. Few little bits and pieces to sort out. Little water leak up here.
Okay. Oh god. The thing is though, that's quite an integral part of the truck, is this bar.
Yeah.
And that's actually come away, and we chatted just before. We don't think that's snapped. That's actually fallen out. And
it's actually
the sensation I got was probably just it coming out.
Yeah, I think as it's come loose
to the floor.
Because you said it was you were getting a bit of a vibration beforehand. That was probably where it was loose and actually moving. We've also got a wheel bearing issue on this particular wheel, where there was quite a lot of play and the wheel bearing's actually gone quite dry. So this is the bearing, which is actually quite dry of grease. It's not very very happy, and there was a lot of movement in that. So you know, I think we're going to be replacing those as well. Just
we're going to replace it a lot. So as I've come up the road to the speed bump, I reckon the bolts come out.
Quite possibly, yeah. You've got the speed hump.
Yeah, and it's just gone chomp like that.
These are sprung as well. So as your suspension moves up and down, this arm will go with it as well. So obviously, if that bolt comes loose, the arm's moving up and down. The bolt's separating. Yeah, not good.
And that's sort of how it's happened. Oh my god, nice and scary, mate. Nice and scary.
Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse. I'm glad it was literally just outside my house. That's the main thing. But the main thing is that obviously someone's modified this, and I don't think these are factory, are they? Or they could be, but the bolts don't look factory, do they? Onto the arm there. It's just checking around the car. And yeah, we said about the brakes, we were gonna do them, but I wasn't expecting that to happen.
No.
And that's what's forced the truck over into the curb at the time.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, because of big tyres and the wheels and stuff, nothing really happened, but it meant that this actually came apart and dragged the wheel, I'm assuming, up into the actual wheel arch at the time.
As you brake, obviously this wheel will grab, and because it actually moves the steering geometry, so as you brake, that will obviously push this arm backwards in this direction.
Yeah, there it is.
And that will then as well, obviously it will lock this wheel. It feels like this wheel's locking up, which is what you felt.
Which is exactly what I felt.
But in doing that, because it's changing the steering geometry and everything else, it's also dragging the steering wheel out of your hand, if you like, and
which is exactly what it was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I moved it literally 2 foot outside, and it did.
It did the same.
Oh my god!
Super scary times. But it's fine. It hasn't happened anywhere crazy. It's just one of those things. It's happened. The brakes needed to be done anyways, and they were coming in here to get the brakes done, but it's accelerated the idea that we're going to actually sort that out as soon as possible now. Make sure your brakes work, everyone. That's the main thing. Any other problems we found with the truck other than leaks?
No, not really. Well, obviously knew about the centre prop shaft bearing.
Yep, so that's sort of on its way, mainly because I think Would you say the gearbox?
Yeah.
And the position of it?
Again, where it's been sort of Frankensteined a little bit.
Yeah, because there's a Volvo
and
engine in it.
changed without.
It's just Volvos.
Yeah, it's definitely seen better days. The centre prop bearing, which is
Just
here.
there.
So yeah, that's definitely
that's got a bit of movement. So
not very happy, as you see. The rubber's all starting to break away, and
there.
bits and bobs there. So
okay, nice big zip tie on there as well.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Nice and scary times. Yep. It's fine, it's hot rod. You say hot rod when you see a cable tie on a truck like this, is fine. Also, coming round the back, the other thing that we've just noticed was that it's got air shocks on the back. We don't know if that's for load or... I don't know. Would you think it's for load? I thought it was for load.
Generally they would be used for load. Whether someone's tried to retrofit them to give it that air ride stancey sort of look is a possibility.
Weird though, isn't it?
Need to run through the system really and see what's actually rigged up.
Because we were talking about bagging it and how easy it would be to bag the back, and then you said about the air shocks being in the back. I was like, hey, there's no air shocks on there, and in fact there actually is, which is quite nice. The other thing is, it's not actually that bad under here, is it?
No, it's pretty
surface
solid.
Rust everywhere, don't get me wrong, but it's actually not
surface
too
rust,
bad.
and I think as we discussed when we went to buy it over the winter, obviously you'll
everything's getting absolutely
get under there and
painted up and
tidy it up a little bit.
Yeah, these need So, thank you to Ian for sorting me out, just destroying my life slowly over and over and over. I'm going to get on to the Dodge pages that I know and start buying loads of bits for this thing. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. The truck will be back, don't you worry about that. Follow Ian at the works as well, absolute legend. If you're ever Isle of Wight based, he's the guy. You're the guy.
Thank you very
he's
much,
the guy.
mate.
And he's got a Cosworth as well. Got that out. He's got a Cosworth. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. See you later.